Everybody, welcome back to Smoker at Barbecue's YouTube channel. Today we are doing a lengthy, very extensive video on how to barbecue, cook pulled pork from the Boston pork butt, pork roast, pork blade roast, what have you. It's all the same part of the animal, all the same thing. We're going to go ahead and cook it up today. This will be a very lengthy video, and my apologies for people who don't like to watch long videos, but that's what we're going to do today. Please feel free to comment down below if you see anything you'd like to add in this video. Additionally, this cook is going to be showcasing specific optional and required steps that you have to do if you're doing a Boston pork butt on a barbecue. I have a Big Green Egg. You don't have to have a Big Green Egg to make delicious barbecue. There are some people out there who think you can make delicious barbecue with pellets. I'm not sure who those people are, but anyway, stay tuned, keep watching this video. Thank you for stopping by. Any questions, please let me know. Have a great day. My name is Brian, and welcome to my masterclass. Here is our pork butt that we're doing for today's cook. It is approximately, I'd say 10 pounds, but after a little trimming, probably will be a little bit less than that. This was only 88 cents. So that is a good day right there. I only paid $9 for it. A little plug-in for Kroger, that was a good deal. Anyway, let's go and take this out of the plastic wrapping, and we'll show you what we have. This is a very good looking pork butt. Again, I say pork butt. This is not from the butt of a pork. This is the term they use when describing a pork butt, because it was in the Boston pork butt barrel when they would slice up the pig itself. So I'm going to do a little trimming here on some of the exterior fat. Again, you don't have to do this. This is one of the many optional steps I'm going to be describing about today in terms of what you need to do for your pork. This is going to be absolutely delicious if you trim it or not. It might have a little more fat that won't render out like this here. We can trim this out. I'll probably do it this way so I don't get the knife haters. This is a very good looking piece of meat. If you're wondering, there is a bone in here. It's right here. And goes through here. So you'll see pullback as we start this cook today. Right here is what we call the money muscle. There's a little bit of blade right here. Looks like that wasn't trimmed off. So I might do a little trimming right here. There's a small little bone. Normally this is not here. This is unexpected. I'll trim this off now. And feeling right here a lot, oh, sorry, you can't see that. Right here, a lot of fat that should not be here. I'll trim this off too. Now this was the fat that, it's a lot harder than the fat that was just on the exterior of it. The denser, harder, it won't render out when you put it in the smoker. That's what you want to trim off. So that's probably pretty good there. Now let's get to a good point when you want to trim it. Here is another another optional step you can do here. You can see we have a pretty good fat cap. I'll call it probably about 1/4 inch right there. Not too big, not too small. I'm going to do a light scoring with a knife. Cross hatch that. Just want to go right into the meat. Don't go far down into the meat. Just scoring the fat. Now this optional step is done. Let's get to the next optional step. Today we're actually going to be injecting this pork butt. Here is a generic meat injector that I have. I'll put a link in the description for this one and any ones you might also find desirable. This one came with 2 different injector probes. See, this first one is what we'll actually be using today. Has holes all along this, about 3 inches long, all along this. So what you do, you put into a piece of meat, and it's going to get all throughout. That meat's going to be injected with the whatever liquid you end up putting in it. The other one here, it just has a 1-hole probe. So you put in the meat, and the one spot's getting it. If I'm doing like a turkey or something that isn't very thick, I'll be using this one. If we're doing a pork butt today, I'll end up using this one. There you go. Now for the injection liquid. Right here I have a mixture of apple cider vinegar and water. And I'm not going to give any specific brand names or companies what's on the rub we're doing today. But please know this is a generic rub. And you can use the techniques I'm showing for anything. So what I'm going to do is actually just pour in the rub we're using on the outside to go in the liquid as well. Now we have a spoon, just going to mix this up. Not too much, not too little. What we want to do is we want to get the flavor that's going to be outside of the pork butt also in the middle. There we go. Let's scoot this over. Let's go in just like that. You can see it's swirling just a little bit, and that's a good thing. Perfect. And yes, you are poking a lot of holes in this meat. Since we're making pulled pork, you want those muscle fibers to break down anyway, so it won't be the end of the world. Make sure you get all the way into the holes. You want the liquid to shoot out as well. Here I'm hitting bone again. Going from the side this time. Get a good one. There you go. Get a little bit more. You should get that money muscle. Perfect. Okay, put that off to the side. And now, since it's already cooked and coated, another optional step, which I will not do right now, but you could do, is put some kind of binder on the outside of this pork butt. Actually, tell you what, let's go and do that. This is, again, another optional step. You can or cannot do this. This is not going to add any flavor to the pork. All this will do is let the rub you choose to put on it adhere to the pork butt much easier. This is a pretty thin layer of mustard that we're putting on. There we go. Flip it over and apply more mustard the other side. Again, this is a generic rub. I'm not going to recommend any specific brand today. You can see there's a good yellow coloring on there. Obviously the mustard's helping out with that too. But I have a different rub I'm going to use, which gives a good, I'm not looking for is a good reddish effect. And that's a lot of paprika in the rub too. And yes, I am making a mess. That's quite all right. Don't be shy. And this, again, an optional step. I'm actually putting a little bit of paprika, just the powder itself, over this. Really, this is just for appearance. It gives a good dark red color, which I like a lot when I look at my pork butts. Now this cutting board is really wet from the injection, so I'm going to go and dry this off before we flip it. I don't want to lose any of this rub that we just put on. Last little bit of paprika. So here it is. I'm really happy with how this coloring's turning out already. This will sit here for a good probably 30 minutes before I get the smoker, whatever barbecue you have, up to temperature. There you go. All right, we'll come back to you now. We'll be outside with the barbecue. Here is our barbecue. We have the extra large big green egg. This is done. I had a previous cook a couple days ago, so we're going to get this thing set up now for our cook today. Put on your gloves because they'll be getting dirty. As you can see, we have a pretty good layer of lump charcoal. I always will recommend anybody doing barbecue to use lump charcoal, not charcoal briquettes. They cook much cleaner, a lot more efficient, and a lot less ash buildup. Now the reason for less ash buildup and why I recommend that is if you have more ash being produced by the material you're cooking with, the ash will prevent heat flow from going to this and escaping to get to your meat. If you have more ash, it's less air movement. Less air movement means more restrictive and less control of your temperature. Go lump. So now what you see here is lump charcoal. There is actually an oak log that's in here, but you can't see it because it was all cooked up. This guy right here. What I'm gonna do now is go get my wood for today's cook. I have 4 wood chunks from an oak log I just cut up. I get these oak logs at Academy. I love the flavor of oak on meat, especially beef, but since all I have today is oak, we're using that for the pork. It'll taste absolutely amazing. What you want to do is you want to plan your cook and these oak logs to cook at different times throughout it. That's why I'm going to be staggering and layering these guys amongst the charcoal. So as a cook progresses, it's going to start in the middle, because that's when I'm going to light my fire, and will reach outward. As it reaches outward, each log will add more smoke, and by more smoke, there's more flavor. Now that we have the chunks of wood positioned to where I want them, I'm going to add more charcoal and light this fire up. Not a paid sponsorship at all, but I'm using B&B charcoal today, and this is oak lump charcoal. Now I put a pretty good layer down of lump charcoal over my existing bed. And now I could go, and technically I can go up as high as here. So there's a lot more room for activities if you're so inclined. This is going to be probably a 9 to 10 hour cook today. Nothing too long, but not short. I will always want to make sure I have more charcoal, more fuel than I think I need. I would hate during a cook to have to add more, which I've never had to do, to keep it going. I always like to plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's my motto there. Okay, now that I have this done, we can go and get this thing lit. There are many different ways to light your charcoal. I have a charcoal chimney where you can put a little bit of charcoal in there, light it, and place that chimney of lit charcoal in the middle. I also have those paraffin wax cubes, those little woolly wood things you can light as well to start it. Today I have a small garden blowtorch. I'm going to light a small spot in here, and small spot specifically, to slowly raise the temperature of this barbecue. There's a lot of charcoal here. If I give it too much air and too much lit charcoal at one time, the temperature is going to skyrocket and I'll lose my pork butt. And that's something I do not want to do. So I'm going to now go get my blowtorch and do a small area right here, right on top of this piece of wood. As you can see, it's a very small little fire that it's producing, not big at all. Got this little spot here started. Now that is, again, a very small little spot that's going to be lit charcoal. What I'm do now is go ahead and put my deflector plate, which deflects the direct heat to the meat. So that's the direct heat right there. This is going to go in and will direct any heat that's going to be on the pork butt, which will be right here on the grill grate themselves. Now I'm going to do one more step before I put the actual grate itself on. But I'm going to show you something else too. This is a very old wheel for my Big Green Egg, but I'm going to do it this fly thing all the way closed and just open probably halfway. I want to slow build up our temperature. Of course, the top vent is not the only vent that we have for this barbecue. I don't have there's a wire mesh that goes here normally that fell off a couple years ago. Don't worry about that. What I'm going to do now is also close this down to about, I'd say about a 1/2 inch. That's good there. Now I'll make sure that's good in. We have good airflow going in here, up to the charcoal that's lit, and out the smokestack. Now you can see a slow smoke coming up, not too fast, nice and slow. That's what we want to see. This is my, I was going to say next optional step. I forgot what number we're on, to be honest. So this is a big drip pan and water pan. I get that. Normally you don't have to be that big. I bought a big pack at Sam's Club so that I have a lot left over. So I thought, why not go and use this today? So this will be a drip pan, but also will be acting as a water pan. This is my garden hose going in here. Let's put full. And that was a lot of water I just put in, but that's okay. And this thing is even so tall that the grate's no longer touching the deflector plate. Normally the grate would be about 2 inches lower, maybe 1.5 inches lower, but it's not. It's resting right on top of this water pan, which again is fine. Now while the temperature comes up, I'm going to put in my BBQ probe. I want to put it where it's going to be at least 1 inch away from the meat. I don't want it over direct heat because then I won't get an accurate reading. And I also don't want it over the water because that'll be the temperature will be a little bit skewed based on the water boiling versus what the barbecue is going to be. And now we're waiting until it's up to temperature. I like to put it on a little bit early until normally I would cook at 225. Today I'm going to be cooking at 275. Now traditional barbecue is anywhere from 225, in my opinion, all the way up to 300. I like the consistency I get with 275, especially on the Big Green Egg, as well as the time reduction it takes when you're cooking at a little higher temperature. We are now up to temperature. I'm not sure if you can tell in the background, but we have a little crackling of the fire and the charcoal, which is a good thing. Always bring yourself some paper towels out here to wipe your hands off when you're done moving the meat. You also can wear gloves, and you just take them off when you after you handle it. Now I'm going to close this really quickly because I don't want the flame to get too big, causing the temperatures to get too high. Right when I put this on, it was 208 degrees, just below my temperature I want to get, which is 275. So as the barbecue comes up to temperature, it'll cook it more because there's no other reason than to get it on at this time. We are now at 259 degrees. We're about 20 degrees off from my desired target temperature, but since as this works, it's going to actually keep going up in temperature. So I'm going to go ahead now and close this down ever so slightly to restrict the airflow. Right about there. I mean, I did probably maybe a 1/4 inch, not too much. That's going to prevent it from going up too hot too fast and get us at a right target temperature about 275. And don't worry about this one up top right now. It's the probe I'm going to put into the pork butt once we get farther along into the cook. I figured at this point there's no sense of putting it in when the temperature will be so low anyway. It wouldn't tell me anything about the cook I don't already know. We've been going now for a good, I'd say 2.5 to 3 hours. Now I'm going to do the next optional step on this pork butt. What we have here is a mixture of water and apple cider vinegar. We're only going to simply spray this. Make sure you... There you go. And that's pretty much it. This gets the crust or the exterior of the pork moist throughout the cook. And make sure that bark that forms on the outside is nice and crusty, which is what we're going for. Now I'm going to close this before the fire down below gets too hot and come back to you. We are coming along nicely. Do our spritz again. Get that bark good and moist. We're getting a good pullback on the bone as well. I like what we're seeing. We're now going to do the next step in this pork butt. Now this is an optional step. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. We do this to tenderize the meat, to get it to cook faster, and also stops the color. It stops the color from getting darker on the pork itself. So you can see I'm putting down 2 pieces of foil here now. Now I layer these out specifically because the pork has a bone in it, so the bone might pierce the tin foil, which is also why I get the heavy duty stuff. This is the stuff from Sam's Club. I know I'm a broken record with Sam's Club. This was a 500-foot roll. Trust me, go big and get this roll. You'll never regret it, and you'll never run out. So now what we're going to do is quickly here position the pork butt on there. I'm going to close the lid here too. I want that fire to get any hotter than it will already. You might as well spritz it one more time before you wrap it. Now this is an optional step. I'm not going to do it today, but you can pour the liquid from this into here and to get more liquid in there to get it to cook faster. Not today. I'm going to bring this off of this ledge and bring the other piece of tin foil and wrap it up for a third time. Now this is good and wrapped up, and put it back on the smoker. Now this is when I will also put my temperature probe in. The bone is going to be on these 2 sides right here, at least I think so. Right in the middle. Continue to monitor at 275. We are sitting in internal temperature of 151 degrees. You'll note the temperature in the pit itself is 295. That's of course a lot hotter than I ever expected it to be. This is because when I opened the lid, the fire inside of the charcoal received more airflow than it normally did and spiked up. I expect this temperature to be down to around 280 very shortly. I'm not too concerned at all. So yes, you are not mistaken. When you're doing a pork butt, there is a lot of downtime. So in the meantime, while we were monitoring this guy here, we were doing a couple different things, cleaning the house a little bit, taking Beignet to the vet. He is a whopping 22.2 pounds. He's growing huge. And then we're still sitting waiting. Right now we're about, let's see. Stretch. Internal temperature right now on the pork butt is 181. So, hands are all filthy now. What I like to go for normally is an internal temperature of 200 degrees. That is used as a threshold. I don't pull it at 200 degrees. I use the 200 degree temperature as a milestone, if you will, to then go and start probing the meat with a temperature probe. Now, I don't use a temperature probe to see the temperature of the meat. I use it to feel sorry, I thought you were paying attention. The tenderness of the meat. If it's tender, as in if the probe goes in nice and smooth without resistance, then I know it's done. That is what you're actually going for, in my opinion, when you're doing pulled pork. Yeah? Yeah. Until we're still just waiting. You can, if it's culturally acceptable in your region.
Oh, region like North Louisiana, Central Louisiana.
Yeah, it was me making a joke. You can.
Greater New Orleans.
Well, not her. You can drink approved beverages while you sit and wait. However, don't drink too much. I'd use judgment and so forth. Additionally, when those early mornings, obviously not drinking this. You're drinking coffee. We do lots of coffee here. Yeah. Do you want to say anything? No? Okay. Well, we're just going to keep sitting here and wasting time until the barbecue is up to a internal temperature of 200 degrees. Sorry, we're got a new microphone and we're testing it out. It's the Zoom H4n Pro with the Rode Lavalier Pro microphone. It's fun. I hope it's working properly. I guess you'll know as well. So yes, we are sitting and waiting for this to be done. Now, if I didn't have the big green egg, I'd have to be monitoring the temperature on this a lot more closely. If I had it offset, I would be having to add logs and charcoal into it while we're cooking. If I had like a Weber kettle, I'd have to be adding charcoal and potentially more water to the water pan as well as we're going out throughout the cook. The big green egg is great where you don't have to do that. It's really a set and forget kind of thing, much like a pellet. I make fun of the pellet smokers all the time because I have a lot of friends who have them because it's fun to make fun of them. I have my own little Ace Smoke pellet smoker too. Whatever you can do that and do it and have fun with it. No judgment here. And that's one big thing with Smoke Rib Barbecue. This is a family. A new hashtag, a new logo is going to be where barbecue and family come together. I love cooking with her, and I hope she loves cooking with me. And that's really what this is all about. What is behind us is just the meat. What we're doing right here in front of us is cooking together as a family, and that's what's truly important. Wow, that was off the cuff. Good job, me. So we'll cut this short. We've been talking for way too long. We really this is how the cook goes, and this is how it's supposed to go. We have a lot of time to spend not cooking and being with the family. Until next time. We're halfway through the cook. We're just waiting here. Has it gone on temp at all? Oh, 183. All right, we're making progress. What's that?
2.
182.
No, it has gone up.
Oh, you got up 2 degrees. There you go. We're flying. We'll we'll come back to when we're at temperature probably around 200 degrees, and you'll see, I was trying to show you as best I can, the probe going into the meat through the tin foil. We're gonna keep it in the tin foil, drop the rest of the cook, and then we'll pull it off and rest it. And then after it's rested, we'll pull it. Can't wait. We are at 201 degrees. We're gonna go and check it. So you can see I'm not using the temperature on the thing, just checking, see how it's feeling. And to be honest, that feels incredible. It's going in with no resistance at all. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it now and let it rest. Now normally I would put this in a cooler. Mine's in the attic. I don't want to get it down. I'm just gonna wrap it up on a towel on my kitchen counter. So we now have it rested for a good while, about just over an hour. You can rest these upwards of 3 hours, so as long as the internal temperature is above what the threshold is temperature-wise, in terms of diseases and contaminations and parasites and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're gonna unwrap the greatest present ever. That's just food stuff. Food stuff. Right there. Oh boy. So we're gonna actually just transition this right away to our pan that we have. It's safer that way. Ooh. Yep, and it did leak a little bit, and that's expected. Go ahead and take this out. Right there. Okay. Now, what I like to do is obviously pull the Boston pork butt to make it pulled pork. However, to make it look presentable, sometimes you have to crack a few eggs, if you will. The tin foil that I put on. Oh boy, we have a little beignet down here trying to get some meat. What I'm trying to do is actually transition this meat out from under the tin foil into the pan. So go and try that now. If it goes unsuccessfully, I'm not going to record it, and it won't be on camera. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and come right back to you. We're going to drain all this liquid off before we start pulling. That's good enough. Okay. Oof, making a mess. Okay. Well, don't worry, we'll probably be making more of a mess before the night's out. So, do you have a fork? And tongs. It's all you need to shred pulled pork. Go ahead. Right into it. Want to take a bite? Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. It's a little hot. So the fun part is to take the bone right out. It kind of fell out already. And there you go. Clean as a whistle. That's what you want to see. And this just pulls apart. Because what is it?
Pulled pork.
Pulled pork. Perfect. I couldn't have set that up better if I had planned it. Exactly. Okay. So this is exactly what pulled pork is. It's taking a big hunk of meat, which would otherwise be very tough, cooking it low and slow for a long period of time, and all the fat renders out and makes it moist, tender, and absolutely delicious. Did I mention smoky?
No.
No, but I'll say it now. So here's what it is. I had something else to say, but I forgot what it was. Oh, here it is. Okay, so a lot of people in the world use barbecue sauce. That's okay. I like to say, if you need barbecue sauce on pulled pork, it's because I didn't cook it properly. There is so much liquid inside the meat. And obviously because we injected it. If we didn't inject it, this would still be very, very moist and so much juice inside this meat. It would not, I repeat, would not be needed. You don't need sauce for this. The sauce, if anything, is just a flavor you're adding on to the meat. It's not necessary to add moisture, liquid to the meat. And not only too, we have all this liquid too that was not used, as well as all the drippings as well that we have outside that we could use if we wanted to. Yeah, we have little beignets out there. I'd say this smoke ring is probably a good 1/2 inch. Again, smoke ring doesn't add anything, does not add any flavor, but it does give a very, very good look to it and very good appeal to the meat. I like that. Anyway, as our little dog beignet is causing a wreck in the house, we're gonna sign out. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching this long video explaining how to do pulled pork on the Big Green Egg. Any questions, let me know. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Sorry, kiddo. Keep barbecuing America. Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Oh man, this looks so good, huh, kiddo?